What is going on? What is going on? It's your boy, Julien Stoutt, licensed personal trainer, licensed PE teacher, world record powerlifter, here to take the fear out of fitness using mindset, encouragement, accountability, and nutrition to help you be the best you. We're about to take off and class is in session. What is going on, my Stoutsiders? My Stoutsiders is inside tonight. So, you see the title and the thumbnails. I'm not even going to go further deeper into it. I'm just going to go straight into the intro. Normally I don't get political. Typically, I don't get political. Every now and then I will, but I don't just jump into it. But this particular thing, it has resonated with me over the last month, to be honest with you. And I'm going to start it off like this. To my people who grew up in the hood, to my people who are growing up in the hood, let me ask you a question. When things are getting real outside, especially if you're young or if you were young in the hood, let me ask you a question. What is the number one thing that happens when things start popping off a little crazy in the hood? Give me an answer in the chat if you can. And if you're on right now, go ahead and give me a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because it will help me with the algorithm and get this information out to the interwebs. So that way I can help you be the best you. Go ahead and put it in the comments. What happened when things popped off in the hood? What happened? What did you do? What happened around you? All of that. And if you're in the chat, go ahead and put it in the chat, please. Okay, cool. All right. Your mama told you get in the house. Get your behind inside. Even if you didn't want to go inside, because you wanted to be where the action was, you took your behind in the house, right? You went in the house, right? More times than not, I know I did. When it was popping off, I know I did. I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't out in the streets wilding out like that. But I will tell you, when my mama told me to get in the house, I got in the house. And why did I do that? Because it was safe. And right now, politically, every demographic in the United States is not happy right now. And everybody is waiting for the national mascot for protest to come outside. Well, I got news for you. Anybody that's looking for us to come outside, we inside. We ain't coming outside. Not for that. We ain't fighting the way y'all fighting. We ain't swinging the way y'all swinging. We are going to keep our behinds in the house. Straight up. And not just for the obvious political reasons. We're all the black people. You ain't finding us. Not outside like that. We'll be outside shopping, picking up groceries. We'll be outside, meeting and greeting with people with like minds and like hearts and like spirits. But we ain't going to be outside marching and protesting for your entertainment. We're not doing it. And for those of y'all who are going to be shocked to find that out, now you know. It ain't going to happen. Some of y'all are baiting us with Derek Chauvin getting pardoned. Go ahead. Pardon him. Be my guest. The state will snatch him up the minute you pardon him federally, and he'll just serve his time like he's supposed to in the state. And good luck with that. Serving in the state penitentiary. Being a former cop. And a dirty one at that. Good luck with that. Well, that FAFO is real. It is real. Fitness activities, fighting obesity is not the FAFO I'm talking about right now. More times than not I will be, but not this moment. Go ahead. There's no reaction. There will be no reaction. Not the reaction you're expecting, at least. Or the expectation you're planning for, at least. It's not it. And I'm not even going to tell you what it is. But stop looking for us to go outside and be the national mascot. We're not doing it no more. We're tired. We're done. We're inside the house. We ain't coming out. If you're looking for the Groundhog Day, if you're looking for the shadow, so to speak, ain't gonna happen. It's also the call to be inside is to focus on our mindsets. The call to be inside is to focus and recognize what's real, start moving in the right direction, and start putting things in perspective. And start recognizing what's happening around you, being woke. That woke. Not the Republican version, not the conservative version of woke, the real version of woke. Being aware and not being asleep at the wheel about what's going on around you. You see it. Department of Education is getting knocked down, and as a educator, I'm going to put this out there myself. I can tell you what the plan is. The plan, because I'm not for it, but doesn't mean I can't see the patterns, and doesn't mean that I can't decipher what the hieroglyphs are saying. Slashing the Department of Education puts it in perspective where it is forcing people to actually financially pay for their education. If you have loans, like many of us do, they're going to hold us hostage for it. They're going to make us pay it. Whatever absorbent amount of money we owe, they're going to make us pay it. Fine. However, those of you who do not have student loans, those of you who are lucky enough to not have them, you're going to be on the better end of the stick. But I'm going to tell you what's about to happen to the rest of you who are not in college. The rest of you who have no plans of going to college. I'm going to tell you what it is. I haven't read Project 2025. I skimmed over the bullet points of what they wanted to do or what their plans are, but I didn't go into the nitty-gritty details. But I could already tell you what's going to happen. They want all the education rights to go back to the states. So that way, whatever state you reside in will preside over your ability to educate information and disseminate information to you based on what they want you to know. So if you live in Texas, they only want you to know what they want you to know. If you live in New York, they might teach you what they want you to know. If you're in California, then you're going to learn what they want you to know. Kansas, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So your education is going to vary mightily based on the curriculum you're going to be able to receive due to the nature of where you live. So, ironically, in some ways, what they're planning on doing is moving minorities out of the state by means of values. So if you value educating your children on the contributions of black people to this society in its entirety, some states may not be for you. If you don't care what they're offering in your state because you choose to educate your child regardless, you might be able to make it. But if you value information, if you value certain information, you might want to live in this state. If you value this type of information, you might want to live in that state. That's what's going to happen starting part 1. Part 2 is that they're going to turn around and try to privatize education. For those of y'all who don't understand what that means you're going to have to pay to go to Head Start, elementary, middle, and high school. And after you get past the 5th grade, it becomes increasingly more expensive. And therefore, what they're going to try to do is help you by means of how successful your grades are. So if you're going to be on a scholarship if you have very good grades. If you don't have very good grades, you're going to have to pay full price. And the minute you fall out of favor in your education, yesterday's price is not going to be today's price. On top of that, depending on what state you live in, they're going to lower the working age to 16. The legal working age will be reduced to 16. Why? Because those of us who do not take heed to my warning now and decide that they're going to goof off in school and think that they're going to be able to turn it around when they get to high school, you better pray to God you don't turn 16 before those grades go up. Because if you do, they're going to kick you out. And when they kick you out, you're going to have to get into the workforce, the real workforce. And if you want to be educated beyond that, you're going to have to pay for it. And considering the fact that many parents, not all parents, but many parents are relishing the day you turn 18 to know that you're going to be responsible for yourself at 16, and you're being a derelict, you're being a knucklehead, you're being hard-headed. Oh, good luck. Apartments ain't cheap. The rundowns where I'm at is $1,200. The bus downs are $1,200. You want anything nice, decent, $1,600 and above. Don't add rooms to it. It's going to be more expensive. So, those of us out here who think that I'm joking, those of us who think that what I'm saying isn't going to happen, make no mistake about it. I promise you, if you don't make political moves, meaning if you don't move politically in a way where you are ensuring that the people you vote in will not move in that direction, it's going to happen sooner rather than later. All this crazy stuff that's happening, it's only been 52 days, people. You got at least 1,400 more days left. Let's do the math on that real quick. I'm trying to find my calculator. I don't know where my calculator is at. There we go. Calculator's hiding. $365 times 4. 1460. We'll have another leap year in there, plus 1. Minus 52. Yeah, you got 1,409 days left of this. Assuming things progress in the natural order of the United States Constitution. You got 1,409 days left. How long do you think you're going to dodge privatization of education? Am I rooting for it? Not particularly. Honestly, I'm not. I don't want to see children who are in a financial deficit to not be given the opportunity to be educated properly. I don't want to see children who are particularly vulnerable in the special education department to be moved out of their opportunity because they're not like everyone else, or they're not quote unquote special. Because I have children who have DNQ'd out of their IEPs after being on one for however many years. It's a beautiful thing to see when they have graduated out of special education and they're back into the general education forum. But I love my special education kids too. So there's that. The other thing is being conscious about the games that are about to happen, because I have news for you. For those of us who are being health conscious and being mindful about what we put into our bodies for the most part, it's about to get worse. This fight is about to get ugly, and it's about to get ugly quick. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to share my screen.
Big Food just found a way to hack Ozempic, and they're doing it in secret. The story is actually crazy. Okay, so there's a food laboratory in Northern California called NASM that is creating the future of food. It's run by this guy named Justin Shimmick, PhD, so you know he is a smart guy, and he has monetized his intelligence quite well. It says for nearly 50 years, Mattson has conceptualized, developed, branded, and scaled hundreds of product lines, and in the process created billions of dollars in revenue for clients. And right now, their clients, Big Food, is asking them to do experiments that will reformulate ingredients so that their food can bypass the effects of Ozempic, Wegovy, and other GLP-1 weight loss drugs. Because from a financial perspective, people on these weight loss drugs are buying less food. Walmart CEO John Furner recently told Bloomberg News that the company is seeing signs that people taking GLP-1 agonist appetite suppressant medications are buying, quote, less units, slightly less calories, which equals less profit. New York Times has reported that sales are down in sweet baked goods and snacks, and the industry is weathering a downturn. That's a big problem for these food executives. So in response, the food companies are designing what they call GLP-1 optimized products. In layman's terms, they're trying to make the food more addictive, even more addictive than they already are, because we know that food is already pretty addictive. Quote, there is little the industry hasn't tried to keep health-conscious consumers eating. Companies
conceal clouds of nostalgic aromas into packaging to trigger Proustian reverie. When they discovered that noisier chips induced people to eat more of them, snack engineers turned up the crunch. Food technologists found a way to amplify the intensity of artificial sweeteners to hundreds of times beyond sugar's natural flavor. The structure of salt crystals can be altered to accelerate the speed at which they absorb into the chemical pathways that signal saltiness, allowing the brain to perceive the flavor more intensely. In the chemosensory world, referring to the science of how chemicals provoke sensations, almost anything is possible. Yeah, I suppose almost anything is possible, but I think the certainty here is that we're going to be left with a bunch of people who are still obese taking drugs with, pretty bad side effects that no longer work. That, I would say, is not ideal. And worse yet, it's all being done in secret, okay? When asked, Justin Shimmick wouldn't say which companies he was working with to develop these GLP-1 products, saying, quote, "We are professional secret keepers." These people are sick.
Okay. So, what did y'all think? This is why we inside. Because at every turn, no matter what you do, something or someone is coming for you. You can't even lose weight in peace. You can't even find joy in being healthy because they're so desperate to hold on to the money that the massive amounts of money that they've made. They're so desperate to hold on to it and continue to make more of it that they're willing to sacrifice you for it. This is why the other FAFO is real. Fitness activities fighting obesity. You're not going to be able to avoid it. You're going to have to change your lifestyle. And you're going to have to change your lifestyle in such a way where you're going to have to start doing things like your great-great-grandparents did. Yes, even in this day of technology, even in the day of smart devices all around you, you're going to have to go back to the old school. You're going to have to cook. Not only are you going to have to cook, but you're going to have to watch what you're putting in your food when you cook. You're going to have to pull it from yourself. Genetically modified animals, all of these chemicals that they're putting in your food, all these manipulations of the chemicals. So here's the worst part about it. The ingredient list isn't going to change. This is how insidious it is. The ingredient list will not change. What they're going to do is manipulate the chemical formula or the molecular structure to such a way where it's still sugar, but it's going to taste sweeter. It's not going to be some new substance. It's going to be salt, but you're going to perceive it faster. They're intensifying the crunch, which means there's going to be some sort of product that they're using to make that noise louder, make it more obnoxious, make it more crunchier. So that way you eat more of it. So that way you spend more of your money eating it. So that way you either become or remain obese. This is the fight, people. This is why we inside. We ain't going outside. We know what we're up against. We know what we're dealing with. And we're not going to turn around and fall on our faces to placate people's pockets or egos. Those days are over. And if you're not on board with this program, I got news for you. This is where the shackles are. This is how they bind you. This is how they're going to tie you up top to bottom. And if you don't want to be tied up, if you don't want to be in a bind, if you don't want to find yourself on the back end or the footnote of history when everybody else is going to be living longer, possibly becoming immortal, all of these things are going to be the barriers that are going to be put in your way to stopping you from reaching those places, from stopping you from being in your best shape well into your 60s and 70s and 80s. It's possible. I see it all the time. People who are very in their advanced ages, but they don't look as advanced as their chronological age suggests. I've shown you Chef Babette. I've shown you her. Ernie Hudson is, how old is Ernie Hudson? Ernie Hudson is well up there in age. Let's see. Ernie Hudson is 79 years old. Let me show you this picture of Ernie Hudson, 79. That's not photoshopped. That's real. That's Ernie Hudson at 79 years old. Ironically, he almost looks exactly like he did in the first Ghostbusters movie. God bless him. Because this right here is what you're looking to be. This is what you're aspiring to reach. You don't got to look like The Rock. If you can, by all means, do so. You don't have to look, like a bodybuilder, and if you can, by all means do so. But when I was growing up, 79 didn't look like Ernie Hudson. When I was growing up, 79 looked like Maya Angelou. Okay? Look up one more person. So I'm going to show you Chef Babette. While y'all think I'm playing, Chef Babette is 70. Okay? Chef Babette is 3 years younger than my mom. That woman don't even look like she's old enough to be my mom. In all fairness to my mom doesn't, my mom has aged quite gracefully herself in many ways. But I'm trying to show you that this is a 70-year-old woman that you're looking at. Ernie Hudson and this woman standing next to each other, you would not believe that they are centenarians. I mean, not centenarians, but septuagenarians. And beyond. They're 79 and 70. You wouldn't believe it. And Chef Babette is not made up ridiculously. She's not plastered with makeup at all. Another picture here. As a matter of fact, she's a little bit older than that. They're saying she's 72. Okay. She is 72 years old. Now, am I suggesting she looks like she's 20 something? No. But she don't look like she's 72. These are the things being educated will get you. This is why it's important that you pay attention and focus to the task at hand. Get an education, grow and develop a skill, make the money that you need to make, save, spend within reason, and let everything else fall where they will. If there's a downturn in the economy, you'll be okay. You'll know what to do. You'll know how to move. You'll know how to navigate. But if you're not going to educate yourselves and all you're going to do is worry about who's twerking where and when and how and who's beefing with who and who's going to turn around and get the behinds whooped and worrying about your eyelashes and worrying about your makeup and worrying about, who's got what, where, when, and how, and, she's got the body I want and he don't and he's broke. And if you're worried about all of that, you outside. And outside is going to be cold. Outside is going to be cold. That's why we inside. Because it's warm inside. And we inside is not necessarily in the house. It is in the house, proverbially speaking. It's getting crazy out there. So mama's yelling, get your behind in the house. But make no mistake about it. We inside. We're inside. We're inside. Your mindset, we're inside. We're trying to grow as human beings. We're inside. Those of us who aren't horrible, selfish human beings, we're inside. We're worried about the heart. We're worried about our fellow man, but we ain't jumping out the window for y'all. Us jumping out the window is over. Some of y'all will be quite thrilled to hear that in some ways. But let me ask you something. Rioting was one thing. I wasn't happy about rioting. But like Martin Luther King said, rioting is the voice, is the action of the oppressed. Well, guess what? Don't look for it. I'm sure you're going to be happy your buildings are going to be standing. I'm sure you're going to be happy that roads ain't going to be blocked, at least not by us. I know you're going to be glad that ain't nobody going to be sitting there, screaming certain mantras. But guess what? Is that what you really want? It's coming. I promise you it's coming. And for those of y'all who didn't heed my warning earlier, I promise you it's coming. Do me a favor, if you made it this far, go ahead and click the like button. Go ahead and click the subscribe button if you're just now deciding to do so. If you've made it this long, I know you love what I'm doing. So go ahead and click the like button. Click that subscribe button. Lastly, This has been burning my biscuits. I'm not gonna lie, it has been. But I'm gonna turn around and say it. Some of you out here who dislike when when certain demographics takes on the mantle of a particular thing that you idealize, and then you scream through the rooftops that this ain't it for you, you ain't fooling us. We're inside. And that goes for everybody. You don't like somebody because they're white and they're doing something that you don't expect white people to do. If you're black and they don't like the fact that you're doing something they don't expect a black person to be or do in that position, Hispanic, Asian, all of it, we see you. It doesn't mean so for those of y'all who feel some type of way of specifically Anthony Mackie being Captain America, talking about that's not your cap, understand something. Understand this fully. Captain America chose Sam Wilson. Your favorite guy, your favorite guy's favorite guy is Sam Wilson. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Your favorite guy's favorite guy is Sam Wilson. And for those of y'all who are suggesting that Bucky should be Captain America, well, I got news for you. Even Bucky doesn't want to be Captain America. And even when he was Captain America, he wasn't ideal. They ended up fighting him. Okay? That's part one. Part two. When we all talk about meritocracy, when we all talk about how nothing should be given, if you've watched those movies, if you've read the comic books, you would know that Sam Wilson earned that position. But even Anthony Mackie has admitted to himself and to others that success is not earned, it's given. Success is not earned, it's given. You, if they want you to be successful, there's nothing that's going to stop them from making you successful except for you. If they want to make you president, ain't nothing stopping them from making you president but you. If they want you to be the next A-list celebrity, nothing will stop them but you. Next big time singer, the next basketball player, the next great football player, nothing will stop them from making you that thing except you. But you still have to work. Don't make no mistake about it. You're going to work. Look at Will Smith. Real quick, because I'm getting ready to land this plane. But look at Will Smith. He got the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the TV show that ran for over 6 years. He got that TV show by being brought to a party, sat down, worked out the plan of the TV show and all the financial schematics in one night. You've heard the story. They wanted the next big thing. And Quincy Jones thought it would be Will Smith. And in the process of that, Will Smith was terrible, according to him. It's not my opinion, because it's only because he's point out those flaws in those original episodes of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Now you can't unsee it. Where he points out that he is mouthing the lines of his counterparts to know when he is supposed to interject himself. You can see his lips moving. And I see it, and now I can't unsee it. Do I still enjoy the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Of course I do. But to know that at one point he was not very good at all, to now being an Oscar winner, despite the controversy that befell it earlier, he's still an Oscar winner, and he's been nominated, 2 other times? He's a 3-time nominee, 1-time winner. They chose him. He worked hard, but they chose him. It's no different in my profession. They choose who they want to succeed. No matter how hard you work, they choose who they want to be successful. They want you gone, you're gone. They want you buried, you're buried. But that doesn't mean you stop fighting and you don't carve a lane for yourself. What it means you do is you put your head down and you grind until you're either polished or until you're no more. I hope to God that my grind makes me polished. I pray to God that my grind makes me visible. I pray that my grind gets me chosen to be the next, whatever that is. My hard work and dedication and effort, I pray, be rewarded. And I hope yours does too. Because at the end of the day, it's all we have is the work. All we have is our efforts. All we have is our ability to compile information and grow and learn from it. Does that make sense? Guys, that's my time. I gotta eat, get ready for bed, do some work, other work. And I hope that in watching this video, you guys are waking up and realizing that there's no more jokes inside. On the inside, there's no more jokes. It's all work from here. It's all work from here. And I hope that y'all take to heart everything that I said tonight. Because we're inside. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and here on YouTube. Have a nice day. Be the best you. Class is Stoutt.